Doesn't have to be pretty.
I know, I
Go
gotta
for
make
it.
sure. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to tonight's Bloomington School Board meeting. All members are in attendance. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. We have lots of recognition this evening. First, we will begin with the Jefferson High School National Merit Scholars, semifinalists, and commended students. And I'd like to call upon Kevin Grebner, the principal of Jefferson High School, to come up and say a few words about the program and introduce his students.
Madam Chair.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. Would someone like to move approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Grebner. Sorry about that.
Well, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Fujitaki, good evening and thanks for inviting some of our Jefferson students here this evening. We have 9 Jefferson students who have distinguished themselves academically, and it's fitting that they be recognized for this. Just a little background on the National Merit Scholarship Competition. Last October 2014, over 1.5 million students nationwide from over 22,000 high schools participated. They took the preliminary SAT test, or what we call the PSAT test, and it's also called the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. By taking the test, they automatically enter the competition, and this is, again, is a nationwide competition. Out of that pool of 1.5 million students who took the PSAT exam, the Scholarship Corporation narrowed the field down to the top 50,000 students. About 34,000 of those 50,000 students are named commended students for scoring at least a 202 out of 240 on the exam. These students place in the top 5% nationally of all the kids who took the PSAT test. We have 6 of those students with us tonight, and those students who are now considered in the top 5% of the students nationally who took the exam are Wyatt Anderson, Catherine Duclos, Emma Little, Dennis Neuenfeld, Elena Smith, and Julia Sonneborg. About 16,000 of those students who were the highest scorers on the exam are designated as semifinalists. They represent the top 1/2 of 1% of all the students in the nation who took that exam. And 3 of our students from Jefferson are considered to be in that top 1/2 of 1%. And they are Eli Olson, Praveen Palagar, and Connor Sorensen. Now, these 3 students have the opportunity to continue on in the competition, as I said, as semifinalists, and they can advance to the finalist stage by fulfilling additional requirements during the school year. All 9 of these students are obviously blessed with some academic ability, but what's more important is that through hard work and perseverance, they put those abilities to good use. So at this time, I would like our Jefferson students to come up here, please. Don't be shy. Come on up, Praveen. It's okay.
You're coming in alphabetical order, that makes my job easier.
And what I would like is for each of our students to come up to the microphone to introduce yourself and what you know about your academic plans or any plans after high school. Please share that with the board. If you don't know, you don't know, but whatever you're shooting for, please share that with the board after you introduce yourself, okay? Again, members of the board, thank you very much for inviting our students here this evening.
not sure where exactly I want to study, I have a list of 7 schools that I'm applying to.
Thank you.
I'm Catherine Ducalo. I'm a senior at Jefferson High School, and I also have a list of schools I'm applying to, but my top 2 choices are University of Minnesota Duluth and Mankato.
MSU.
Hi, my name is Emma Little. I'm a senior at Jefferson currently, and I have got a list of 5 schools that I'm going to be applying to on a possible earth sciences major.
I'm Dennis Noonfeld, senior at Jefferson High School, and I'm looking towards a future in marketing.
Dean Polygar, senior at Jefferson High School. My top choice is the Harvard New England Conservatory dual degree program, and I aspire to be a neurosurgeon and a concert pianist.
My name is Elena Smith. I'm a senior at Jefferson High School. I have a list of schools as well. One of the top choices being the U of M Twin Cities, but my academic plans are undecided.
Well, thank you all for coming, and congratulations to all of you. Could we have the parents in the audience also stand up, because we'd like to recognize you also, because half the work was yours. Good luck to all of you. Next, we have a resolution for a proclamation. Would someone like to read that resolution?
Madam Chair,
Yes, thank you.
you resolve the School Board of Independent School District 271 authorize the attached proclamation declaring the week of November 2nd, 2015 as Lights On After School Week, the 16th annual national celebration of after-school programs.
Second.
Thank you. I'll read the proclamation and then we'll vote. Whereas the school board stands firmly committed to quality out-of-school time programs and opportunities because they provide safe, challenging, engaging, and fun learning experiences to help children and youth develop social, emotional, physical, cultural, and academic skills, support working families by ensuring their children are safe and productive after the school day ends, build stronger communities by involving our students, parents, business leaders, and adult volunteers in the lives of our young people, thereby promoting positive relationships among children, youth, families, and adults. Engage families, schools, and diverse community partners in advancing the welfare of our children. Whereas the Youth and Family Department has provided significant leadership in the area of community involvement in education and well-being of our youth, grounded in the principle that quality out-of-school time programs are key to helping our children become successful adults. Whereas Lights On After School, a national celebration of out-of-school time programs, promotes the critical importance of quality before and after school programs in the lives of children, their families, and their communities. Therefore, be it resolved that the school board declares the week of November 2nd, 2015, Lights On After School Week, and be it further resolved that the school board enthusiastically endorses Lights On After School and is committed to innovative out-of-school time programs and activities that ensure the lights stay on and the doors stay open for all children before and after school. Is there any discussion about this proclamation? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed. I'd like to invite Russ Purdy to come up and accept the proclamation.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and board members and Superintendent Fujitaki. You know, in this country, as many as 16 million kids go home to an empty house after school, which I think draws attention to the need for quality before and after school programs that not only have a positive impact on the students attending those programs, but also helps meet the needs of today's working families. In each of our elementary schools, we have our Kid Safari program, which opens at 6:30 in the morning and goes to the start of the school day, and then starts up again at the end of the school day and goes to 6 p.m. And we currently have over 1,000 students enrolled in this program. along with countless enrichment programs that we offer after school. Our preschool Early Learners Academy program in 3 of our elementary schools, and as well as the After School Galaxy program in each of the middle schools. And to draw attention to the need and importance of these programs, we have our annual Lights On After School family event and celebration that's coming up on Friday, November 6th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Washburn Elementary. At this event, we'll have carnival games and prizes, a dance with a DJ, photo booth, karaoke, food and refreshments, as well as visits from the Bloomington Police and Fire Department. And we also would like to thank the Bloomington Crime Prevention Association for helping sponsor this event for many years. So we invite the whole family to this event on Friday, November 6th at Washburn Elementary. So thank you.
Thank you. The school district is fortunate to have businesses and organizations supporting our learners and the community of Bloomington. In appreciation of these collaborative efforts, the school board recognizes our friends of education. Superintendent Fujitaki, will you please introduce our friend for this evening, the New American Academy?
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure and honor to introduce 2 friends. The first is the New American Academy, and the second is its executive director, Asad Ali Weed. The best way to describe the New American Academy is to introduce Asad to all of you. He came to the United States in 1995 at 17 years old from Somalia. Spoke very little English, and after spending a year in California, he moved to Minnesota, where he took a job. While working full-time, he attended Normandale Community College, and he learned English. Shortly after that, he received his Bachelor's of Science degree in mathematics. Then, being a lifelong learner, he went on to get his MBA from Hamlin, and now he's pursuing his doctorate in public administration from Hamlin. Then he also found time to, while doing all of that, to teach mathematics at Eden Prairie School District. Then he found out his love for teaching, and he saw the need for helping Somali youth, so he started the New American Academy on his own, and it's located in Eden Prairie. He started that 6 years ago, and it's been very successful, and the New American Academy is in helping us. He's created 2 videos for Somali families, and right now he's volunteering at Oak Grove Middle School for an after-school tutoring program. And the mission of the New American Academy is essentially to provide a number of services to East African immigrant communities in the Twin Cities. And one of the things that they do is they provide youth after-school services in the area of mentoring, tutoring, job readiness, and leadership development. These are all things he does. And in addition to that, he serves on the Hennepin County Human Resources Board as a board member. He also helped Eden Prairie School District with their strategic planning. And in addition to all that, he found time to get married, and he has 7 children. This is an exceptional person. I'm really proud to know him, and he has helped me in a number of ways, and I'm glad that he has accepted to be our friend. Thank you.
Superintendent Fujitaki, first of all, it's my pleasure to come tonight in front of the Bloomington School Board. I think I've been working with this Southwest Suburbs schools for the last 10 years, and Bloomington Public Schools is the most welcome to the immigrants and East African community, because since for the last 4 years, or last 3 years actually, we have a very good friendship and relationship with the Bloomington Public Schools. The Bloomington Public Schools help us to get some materials to our kids, like pencils, papers, desks, and books from books for schools, companies to classrooms. So where we go all the time there and get, the classroom materials that we need. So a lot of kids, they don't even afford to have those kind of stuff. So actually, we are very appreciated for Bloomington Public Schools to help us get access to that service. The other thing we have been doing with Bloomington Public Schools is we've been working with how we will be able to connect the East African immigrant parents to the schools, because in order to close the achievement gap, in order to help kids to succeed in the schools, parents have to involve with their kids' education. So we've been able to ask the parents to always come to New American Academy with their kids. So they open the school portal, and we will see if the child is missing some homework, if the child had a tardy or absent, parents doesn't aware of. So a lot of them, they don't know how to access that kind of technology, so we help them because that kind of stakeholder share responsibilities helps everyone to make sure kids succeed. We've been creating videos translated into Somali and ask the parents to involve with the children, talk about how ESL classes or ESL services, ELL services actually help kids to learn. Because for myself, I was an ELL student. I started from Normal Community College. I remember I started a class called PDEV, Personal English Development Vocabulary. I didn't know one word of English when I came here. So I know how kids who speak different language other than English struggle in classrooms. When I started Normal Community College, I think more than 70% of what the teacher is saying actually doesn't come. I didn't know what that information was. Maybe 30 or 25% is what I was understanding from the classroom. And many kids in the Bloomington Public Schools are going through my experience. So I am very, I think the leadership of Bloomington Public Schools is much different than what I have seen in other areas, because it's very welcome and receptive to our community, to parents and community organizations like us to be part of the school system. Because in order to close the achievement gap, classroom teachers alone cannot close the achievement gap. It should be a responsibility that all the stakeholders, nonprofit organizations, faith-based communities, libraries, friends of Bloomington Public Schools, all these people to be part of it. So I would like to say thank you very much and I will be very glad to be part of Bloomington Public Schools friends.
Next, we would like to recognize, I'm going to invite Jennifer McIntyre up to the podium, the Executive Director of Student Services. She's going to tell us about the recipient of the Alan Burton Developmental Adapted Phi Ed Leadership Award.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Superintendent Fujitaki and the members of the school board. I'm very excited about tonight. I get to present an award to an outstanding educator in our district. It has been a great pleasure the last couple of weeks to really get to know Gail and get to see the work that she's doing at Kennedy High School, but really across our district for many of our students who have physical needs, and really finding a way to encourage our students to not only participate but really enjoy and be a part of their community as a whole and in a large area. So Gail Gerard is the recipient this year of our Alan Burton Developmental Adaptive Physical Education Leadership Award. This is something that's given by the state of Minnesota, and it's only given to, obviously one recipient a year, but this is our third year of winning it in the last 7 years. So we have a fantastic department. We have a fantastic DAPE department. We have some really outstanding educators who work with our students across early childhood through age 21, actually. I have a really quick video I would like to share with you of some of Gail's work before I have Gail come up and say a couple of words. So with that, I'd like to introduce Gail Gerard.
Hi there. This is awesome. I was very humbled by this. I was going to say the same thing that Jennifer said. We've had two others before me in this, and I've taught for 30 years. When I came to Bloomington, it was 20 years ago. When I came to our district, I already knew that Bloomington was a leader, and you go to the state conference and everyone knew Bloomington School District was a leader in developmental adapted physical education. It still is. It's a great group of people to be with, and I've been just very, very blessed. So thanks.
Thank you. I'll invite Jennifer to stay at the podium and tell us about the 2014-15 Individuals with Disabilities Education Act Compliance Achievement Award that we received from the Minnesota Department of Education.
So this one I don't have a video for. I don't think I could quite do that. No. So this year we have actually a really quite the honor that we were awarded by the Minnesota Department of Education, and this award was given to us, and actually it's been directly given to our superintendent Les Fujitaki and Eric Melby as the Director of Student Services, Executive Director of Student Services from last year, who is now our Assistant Superintendent this year. They both led our special education department through the course of last year and the subsequent years before that in really ensuring that we are providing the best programming for our students with disabilities, not just in the services that they received, but in the care that they gave to the families and the work that they did with our teachers and our staff. They just did an outstanding job. This is a really big award to win for a large district. We are one of the only large districts in the state of Minnesota to achieve this award this year. And so it is with honor that I give this both to Superintendent Fujitaki and Eric Melby, our Assistant Superintendent. If I can, I will hang it in our department, but this is an award well deserved. So,
Thank you. Next, I'd like to ask, are there any students in the audience from 12th grade government classes that are here for to observe a governmental meeting? Well, make your way up and tell us your name again. And I'm going to read this short statement. Make your way up to the podium, please. A requirement of our 12th grade government class is to observe a governmental meeting of some sort. Things that they may attend are city council meetings, school board meetings, courtroom proceedings, etc. The social studies curriculum guide identifies essential standards, one of which is to understand the role and influence of political processes and organizations by examining the role of interest groups, think tanks, the media, and public opinion on the political process and public policy formation. So I would like to ask you to just identify yourself and your teacher and come over to the podium. Thank you.
I'm Courtney Pavic, and my teacher is Miss Abby, what is her name? Miss Abby Kirstead? Miss Abby Kirstead. We call her Meredith, so.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gina Blazenin, and I have the same teacher as Courtney does.
I'm Delaney Wilton, and my teacher is Daniel Storleen.
I'm Catherine Luckraft, and my teacher is Daniel Storleen.
I'm Zach Motzko, and my teacher is Daniel Storleen.
Thank you.
I'm Luke Polland, and my teacher is Daniel Storleen.
I'm John Gardner, and my teacher is Danny Storleen.
I'm Brandon Gorns, my teacher is Daniel Storleen.
Dennis Neunfeld, and my teacher is Daniel Storleen.
Daniel Phillips, and my teacher is Daniel Storleen.
Catherine Duclo, and my teacher is Daniel Storleen.
Kayla Christensen, and my teacher is Mr. Storleen.
Wyatt Anderson, my teacher is Meredith Abby Kirstead.
Emma Little, my teacher is Meredith Abby Kierstead.
Elena Smith, my teacher is Daniel Storleen.
Helena Springer, my teacher is Daniel Storleen.
Samantha Carey, my teacher is Daniel Storleen.
Thank you all for coming tonight. If you would like to have your agenda signed. One of the people along the wall will be happy to do that when you're ready to go. I believe your requirement is to stay 1 hour. So, thank you very much.
Even if we finish early.
Yeah, you got to stay.
And don't forget the principals here watching.
Is there anyone who wishes to address the school board on an item that's not on the agenda at this time? Seeing no one come forward, we'll move on to the Part A of board business. Would someone like to move Part A of the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Part A includes our minutes, our personnel items, field trip approval, and contracts and agreements. All in favor of the Part A agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Thank you. Brings us to Part B of our agenda, which is the application, number 1 is the application for funds from the Minnesota State High School League Foundation. Would someone like to move that resolution?
Madam Chair. Be resolved, the School Board of Independent School District 271 approves the application to the Minnesota State High School League Foundation for grant funds to be used to pay athletic and activity fees for students who qualify.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. I invite our Assistant Superintendent Eric Melby to tell us a little bit about, give us some background on this.
Thank you, Chair Bartolotta, Superintendent Fujitaki, members of the board. If I may, I just conferred with Jennifer McIntyre. Wanted to also make sure that compliance award that we say thank you to all the staff and teachers. They really worked hard on for a year getting IEPs and everything into order. So I just wanted to publicly thank them as well. In terms of this resolution, you've got background on it, but for the public and for folks watching at home, the Minnesota State High School League Foundation was formed to provide support for Minnesota high school youth to participate in athletics and activities. Foundation offers grants and funding to assist school districts in recognizing, promoting, funding extracurricular participation by high school students. Recognizing the value of students' participation in extracurricular activities, the district is applying for funds from the foundation for various uses, including supplemental funding for students who qualify for free reduced lunches and thus have fees waived. This resolution is submitted annually for the school board, and administration recommends approval of the resolution. Also, just a little more background, the finance part of this from the Minnesota State High School League comes from ticket sales at tournament time. They have a formula to distribute it to schools. Some years we get money, some years we don't get money. It just kind of depends on how their ticket sales and what their formula looks like. But we like to be ready if we do receive those funds to support students and families.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just a real quick one. First of all, Eric, thanks for getting back to me. When I read the packet, I just had a question on how do the students know about this, and or do we help find the students and get them connected with these?
Thank you. The students, when participating in sports or activities, we have information on our website. The coaches, the staff who work with student activities, all are aware that eligible students can get financial assistance, be that for fees or for equipment or things like that. So everybody's aware of that at the high schools. The counselors, the social workers, others, teachers might direct a student or family to look for that information. And according to the activities directors I talked to today, they feel like we do a pretty good job of supporting families and helping them understand the system.
Great, thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing no other questions, all in favor of this resolution, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? No. Thank you. Number 2 on our agenda is the guiding change document for right-sizing the budget. Thank you.
Be resolved, the School Board of Independent School District 271 approves the guiding change document for right-sizing the budget to.
Is there a
Second.
Thank you. And our Executive Director of Finance, Rod Zivkovich, is here to tell us a little background on this.
Chair Bartolotta, Superintendent Fujitaki, board members, here tonight to get the board's approval on the guiding change document. This was a item that we talked about in the last work session. It is the exact same document that was approved by the board last year for starting the budgeting process.
Thank you. Before we go any farther, I'm just going to read the 6 areas that are unacceptable. Means as administration works to put forth a recommendation to the school board for right-sizing the budget. We will not violate the law, agreements, or policies, increase safety risks, close schools, sell district property, consolidate 2 high schools into 1, or put into jeopardy any targeted state, federal funding for mandated programs. Just so that everyone in the audience knows what we're talking about. Is there any discussion about this? Go ahead.
One of the things that I wanted to mention from our last discussion we had on this is, or bring up, is if we need to get a little bit more specific on the results, and maybe not so granular as to get into management. Because I know, for instance, the last time we did this, we have the one that says programs will be aligned to district priorities. That's one of the results we're expecting. We mentioned the board, we have our strategic directions and those things, but for instance, in our last discussion, one of our priorities might be to keep class size low, but for some of us, that might be a different number than for others. And so where one person might say keeping class size below 28 is acceptable, another person might say, well, it should be below 22, another person might say below 25. So I'm wondering if as a board, we might, and I'm just using that as an example, if the board maybe needs to have a discussion on what our priorities are, not too granular, but not out in outer space either. So I don't know if there's anyone has an
Any
opinion on that
discussion?
at this point or not.
I'm sure we'll have an opportunity for that discussion as we get into what we're going to cut, and we can set those parameters at that time.
Yeah.
And probably more, so we can jump into it and have a real, big conversation about it. I don't know if now's the time to do it or not.
Okay. You think it's a little bit too early?
Well, because we'll have a
Wait and see
discussion
what
on that,
the-
I'm sure.
All right.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Just real quickly, I'd like to say thanks to everyone that worked on this. It was a long discussion, and I think this reflects a lot of hard work, energy, and effort.
Are copies of this available? If anybody's interested in the guiding change?
Sure, yeah.
So, because there are 3 different categories, and somebody might be interested in it. Thank you.
Is it also posted in the website, and the
Yeah, we can
board?
post it.
Yes, we could have it posted.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of this resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to board member reports.
Everyone looks at me.
Today.
Madam Chair, I'll be brave and I'll start this off. So the board had a retreat Saturday, October 3rd. Met with most of cabinet, had some good discussion. It was 8 o'clock until noon, something like that. Also had a community engagement committee that met just a few days ago, and I won't elaborate too much on that because the chair of that committee, Dawn, I'm sure has got her notes ready to go on that. Our intermediate 917 board had a meeting. Among other things, we continue to look for, I won't use the word struggle, but I'll walk right up to that word. We look for qualified special ed teachers. I had the opportunity to attend a one-day symposium up at the Minnesota Department of Education. It was titled Overcoming Systemic Racism. I went with a team from Kennedy High School, and that's headed by Radius Guest. It was members from around the state, not just locally, but we had folks from Cook County up near Duluth. We had people from Rochester. They were all over the state. It was interesting to hear different opinions, to be able to listen and learn. Our particular team from Kennedy, what they did for the majority of the day was to break your teams up. So you had to sit with new people and learn new names and have some good conversation. And I wasn't surprised that we had great conversation with that particular crowd. So that was that was an honor to be there. I'm not sure if the last time we met, anyone mentioned that we had a joint meeting with the city council and the mayor. I may be wrong, but I think we kind of all went around and did our reports, and anyways, we had a joint meeting with the school board, city council, and mayor. It was at their building over at Civic Plaza. That was an interesting conversation. Among other things, we were talking about possibilities of a new community center. I had the distinct opportunity to be the one and only cleanup crew for Normandale Hills Elementary teacher conferences last week. The sign-up genius was there. That was the only thing left, and it was a lot of fun to go in and clean up after teachers had a nice meeting in the break room. It's kind of fun to sit and talk with them and check in just to see how they're doing. Last but not least, I'm going to tell you about a date night that I had with my wife. The reason I'm going to tell you about this is that we went over to Jefferson to watch The Importance of Being Earnest. And for those of you that don't know that play, there's a lot of dialogue. There are not a lot of actors in it. And so each actor is asked to remember and to recite a lot of dialogue. And I don't know that I could have gotten through a tenth of what those students did. But the students made it look good, but I know there's a lot of support staff, the crew, the directors, the music folks that make those productions really a blast to go and see. And so we spent our hard-earned dollars on date night over at Jefferson. So it was a lot of fun. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Okay, Jim.
It's kind of hard to follow Mr. Bergstrom's date night. I kind of had a date night, but we just went out and watched the leaves turning color at the football game. We had our first CCAC meeting, Special Education Advisory Committee meeting with Jennifer, and we met, and it was another one of our many well-meaning and good advisory committees that we have within the school district. There's an opportunity for anybody, parents and others, to join our advisory committees in different capacities. This one happens to deal with special education. We've heard about a couple of the things that went on earlier tonight within our special education department. But it was also fascinating, and it probably would have been more fascinating had I not started to nod off halfway through the meeting when we started talking about all the acronyms that are involved in special education, all the different categories and all the different levels that we have here that Bloomington does so well in working with all of our students in all of our different settings in special education. But it was enjoyable, and I learned a lot, and I'm grateful that Dawn Steigoff decided not to be the board rep this year after so many years that she had been the board rep. But it is another one, as I mentioned, another one of our many advisory committees that people should join and learn more about the schools. Thank you.
I attended the Early Childhood Family Education Parent Advisory Council meeting, the ESIFA PAC, right? They had a budget. They approved their budget for the year. They are having a fundraiser, where is it, at Pizza Rev on October 15th, which I believe is this Thursday or Friday. Must be Thursday. Pizza Rev in Edina from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's near Centennial Lakes, and a portion of the proceeds, if you go to there, and I believe you just say that this is for the Family Center, that they'll receive some of the proceeds for that. Their next meeting is on November 12th at 6:30 p.m. at Pond. And they're doing a movie night also. It's planned for November 13th at Pond. The movie they're looking to show is Inside Out. I also wanted to mention that we have a Youth Advisory Council meeting coming up at 5:30 in 2 weeks on Monday, before our next board meeting, so board members, make sure that's on your calendar. We'll be meeting with the high school seniors at this meeting. And that will be here, Oak Grove and Media Center.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, I had a chance to attend the celebration at Kennedy High School for the new students that would be joining the National Honor Society. And I also attended the PTSA meeting. This month it was held at the College and Career Academy, and we had the presentation there, updating them on how the College Career Academy is doing and a little information about it. I thought it was very interesting that in their presentation they said that the jobs in the future, over 70% will require some education beyond high school, but of those jobs, only 30% will require a four-year degree. And so the College and Career Academy seems to be hitting right where we need to and providing other alternatives for people to get to work and start earning an income. It was also pointed out that we do have families that their children ask, I need to get a job, I need to help my family, and how much that also is helping some of those students so that they can enter the workforce earlier than they would have had they just stayed in our regular high school programs. It also, they had way more students than they thought would originally sign up for it, so it's been very successful as far as enrollment. And I also wanted to mention that the PTSA is also part of one of the partners in hosting the winter clothing drive. So you can drop off new or gently used coats, hats, boots, et cetera, at various locations throughout the city, and all of the things will go to our Bloomington elementary students. And I think this building is one of the drop-off sites. Is that correct? Yep. I also, as Director Bergster mentioned, the Community Engagement Committee also met. And we discussed we will have another joint meeting with the City Council. We discussed possible dates for that and some topics for that coming up. And the biggest thing that we discussed there is our school district is coming up on an anniversary of when this school consolidated and became a school district, and it will be 100 years in the near future. So we started making plans for what we're going to do to celebrate the centennial year of Bloomington schools. So that was most of the Community Engagement Committee's discussion. That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, I'll turn it over to the superintendent.
Thank you. Since the last meeting, I had the honor of being invited to speak to two groups. They both wanted to hear about what's going on in the school district. The first group was the Bloomington Retired Educators Association. It's about 60 to 70 retired teachers, educators. This includes not just teachers, but principals. So I gave a talk to them about what's going on. They're very interested in staying informed, and they're very interested in whatever policy actions we want to take. So when the legislative committee meets, I think that's a group we can connect with. The other group was the Education Forum at Peace Lutheran Church. It was on a Sunday during two sessions, and they had me talk to about 70 people, and they were very interested in what's going on in the school district and how they can help. So if anybody wants me to come and talk to their group or their congregation, I'd be happy to do that. Just contact my office. Thank you very much.
Okay. Is there any other business to come before the board this evening? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.